Welcome to episode 18 of Fizzy's Wacky World of Wrestling. My name is William Fizzpatrick, and, we had a little bit of a delay on this particular edition of the show, 2-day delay to be exact, but for the first time, Wacky World of Wrestling is doing a show on a weekend.
Yep, and that's my fault, guys. I'm sorry. I was on vacation, so it got delayed, but we're happy to be here.
Yeah, and it's absolutely no problem in this case because I don't have a speaks this week.
Hooray!
And besides, I wasn't going to miss out on talking about the world of professional sumo with my co-host, Sal Cusmano.
Hey, everybody.
Yep, we return to the world of professional sumo for the first of two Wacky Worlds of Wrestling. This show on Sunday and then back to our usual show on Friday.
Yep. So we're going to be a little busy this week, but, stuff happens.
Yep. So, for those of you who have been living under a rock for the past couple of episodes, we did a sumo episode on the third edition revival episode of Wacky World of Wrestling, a preview of the Nagoya Basho. This is a preview of the Nagoya Basho that actually started today.
Yeah, it started... Well, it came out and started for us earlier this morning, so,
Yeah, it started earlier for us, and this Basho goes on from July 9th, which is today, to July 23rd of 2017. So while everybody else is focusing on that silly pay-per-view name of WWE's, we get to focus on professional sumo.
Yep. But don't worry, we'll talk about Great Balls of Fire next week or on Friday or whenever.
Yep. I still can't believe I had to say the name 2 weeks ago.
Oh, come on, Fizzy. You enjoyed it. Don't lie.
I didn't.
Okay. All right.
I really do. I'm actually more going to enjoy the fact that we're going to be talking about this instead of wrestling this week. Well, we are talking about a form of wrestling. It's just...
Yeah. No, I get you. Yeah, no. It's nice to take a break from WWE and New Japan, CMLL, all that stuff. Although we never talk about New Japan because I don't have the world.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, the professional sumo, this is held at the Aichi Prefectural Gymnasium in Nagoya, and this is the only Basho in Nagoya on the calendar.
Yep, most of them take place in Tokyo and Osaka, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, so, this is the one that gets away.
Yep. And there's always something in the water when it comes to the Nagoya Basho, as we will discuss as we get through the rankings. Now, we're going to do things a little bit differently than we did last time. We are instead going to be covering the Yokozuna through Megashira 16 rank first.
Yep.
And we start off with the guy that everybody thought was past his prime. Everybody thought that he couldn't possibly win another Yusho, or if he would, it was going to be under lucky circumstances. That guy is Hakuho. Hakuho apparently got a little angry about that. He proceeded to do a Zen Yusho in the last Basho. For those who don't know, that's an undefeated record.
Yep. Last tournament, he went 15-0. Won the tournament, and yeah. See, last tournament, he came into it as Yokozuna West 2. For those who don't know anything about sumo, West... It's broken. There's only 4 Yokozuna at the moment. And they group them in. And in sumo, your ranking is grouped into East and West. West is the lower of the two. Being Yokozuna West 2 meant he was ranked lowest of the Yokozuna. Because when you're made Yokozuna, you can't lose your rank. You can be forced to retire, but you can't lose it. So, yeah, he was ranked as the lowest Yokozuna last tournament. And he said, screw it. I'm showing all of you what I'm made of. Went with a Zensho Yusho, and, well, he's back.
Yeah, he won his first Basho in a year. He had gone winless in the Bashos. He had a solid record, and he also had to pull out of one of the Bashos. But, they thought that he was past his prime. No, guy's still here. Yeah. He's now the top-ranked Yokozuna East-ranked wrestler because he won the last tournament.
Yeah. Now he's Yokozuna 1 East, which always happens. If you're Yokozuna and you win the Basho, you're 1 East, pretty much.
Hmm. The guy that was the closest challenger to Hakuho in this Basho, and he already is 1-0, folks. He beat Koko Shigeru in the first contest of the day.
Yeah, he pretty much judo threw him.
Yeah.
Not kidding either. That's how he won Kotanage, which is pretty much like if you've ever seen someone do a stereotypical judo throw where they grab your arm and like throw you to the mat. That's pretty much what he did.
Hmm. Only Koko Shigeru basically bounced like a pancake on the mat.
Yeah,
I'm not kidding. He literally bounced.
yeah. It's something. I mean, if you ever want to see like two guys who are at least 250 pounds, usually 300 plus pounds, and one of them pretty much judo throws their opponent, watch sumo. It's awesome.
Speaking of watching sumo, our next person was in one of the best bouts of the day. Unfortunately, he lost, and that would be Yokozuna West 1 Haruma Fuji.
Yep. Last tournament, he went 11-4, and he was one of the few that really had any sort of chance of challenging Hakuho up until like the last couple of matches.
When he received a toe injury.
Yeah. He still fought through it, but and his performance last Basho actually brought him up from Yokozuna 2 East to, as Fizzy said earlier, Yokozuna 1 West.
So yeah, this guy, he's a solid Yokozuna. He's got very little issue at this point. He's pretty much healed up from the last Basho, as healed up as you can be in professional sumo. However, he ran into the buzzsaw of Yona's Yoshikaze, who proceeded to throw him out of the ring.
Yes, this was a great match earlier today. One of the best. I mean, it was really back and forth. Yoshikaze got a really good jump on him, and he was pushing him out, but Haruma Fuji actually sort of prevented it for a bit. They actually did like a spin around, like a twirl around each other at one point. But Yoshikaze kept pressing and he got the win.
After that is the East 2 Yokozuna, who is the other person who suffered a loss today, Kisena Sato.
Yeah. Last tournament was not a good one for him. He went 6-5-4 and withdrew from the tournament due to injury. And Kisano Sato, you'll remember me talking about him from the first sumo show we did. He had won the January tournament. The March tournament, excuse me. And he won the January tournament too, but it's the March tournament that matters. And in that, he got injured on the second to last day. He fought through that injury and won the tournament, but he was not fully recovered when he went into last tournament, the May tournament. My biggest question for him is he healed up?
I think he's okay. He's got no tape on his arm at this point. But the problem is that he went up against a wrestler who is basically a guy who could beat him in Mitakume.
Yeah. I honestly think, these next couple of matches of his will be indicative of his health. I hope he's healthy. I have no idea. But yeah, it was not a great start for him. And, he's come down a bit. Last tournament, he was the highest ranked Yokozuna because he had won the previous tournament. So, it'll be interesting seeing what he does and if he is hurt. But hopefully he isn't.
Yeah. And I think he'll have a decent Basho this tournament. If not, he'll pull out again, which is fine. There's no real backlash to doing that, especially if you're injured.
Yeah.
So he might pull out on either the 6th day or the 7th day of the Basho. And finally, the guy who managed to avert another loss for the Yokozuna camp was Kakayuru.
Yeah, Kakayuru. Yeah, last tournament was not good for him. Went 1-4-10 and withdrew due to injury.
And he had a scare against Shodai where he almost lost.
Yeah, but he won. So, it'll be interesting to see what he does. I think he looked good in this match overall, I'd say.
Yeah.
I mean, Shodai is no slouch, no schlub. Shodai is a very, very capable Rikishi or sumo wrestler, and I've heard some people speculate that he might be one of the guys who could be a future Ozeki.
I think, honestly, at this point, however, that Shodai, he's a decent hand at this point, but I think that Mitakume, Takashishoyu, and heck, even Yoshikaze and Tamawashi are primed for Ozeki runs at this point.
Yeah, I honestly think Mitakume's probably looking really good at this point. He's been very solid lately, but you never know.
Yep. And speaking of our Ozekis, oh good lord, guys.
Not
What
a
is
good
it
day for
about
them.
the Ozeki rank that makes these guys stumble around?
I don't know, man. I mean, at least in for Teruno Fuji and Goedo, this is their tournament where they can go Kadoban,
Mhm.
you know. But yeah, no, not a good day for the Ozekis. They all lost today.
Yep. Tenoro Fuji went against an even larger brick wall than himself in Takahashi Shoyu.
Yeah. And, well, Teruno Fuji lost.
Yeah. Got
And I
pushed
mean,
out of the ring, and he was shocked when he got back in. Like, because for those who don't know, Takashi Shoyu is a very small very small Megashira.
yeah. And for those of you who don't know, Teruno Fuji is a very, very large man.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, he got knocked out. I mean,
Mhm.
I honestly think he's looking for a win. Last tournament it was very good, 12-3. You
Mhm.
know,
Yeah, but he took Takashi Shoyu too lightly, and Takashi Shoyu threw him out of the ring.
yeah, and I honestly think with Hirono Fuji, the past few Bashos he's been in, he's always been solid, always been very close to winning, but he's never won it. I know he's won at least one, but I mean recently.
hmm
I I think he needs to get over that hump.
hmm I think he could possibly do it in this Basho, but he's going to have to climb out of a hole now.
Yeah, that's never easy. You never want to start out in the hole.
hmm Goedo, however, was shocked by Toshinoshin's ballet skills.
Yes. Oh man, one of the things I love about sumo is the fact that even when for those who know how it works or don't know how it works, in sumo there's this giant circle thing called a doyo. Well, the doyo is actually the whole clay thing they stand down and fight in, but there's a circle in it. If you get pushed out of the circle, you're out. You lose.
hmm
And oftentimes when it looks like a person's about to get pushed out of the circle, they employ they're very flexible, and they employ what is pretty much like ballet, and they dance around on the edge of the rope to avoid getting eliminated.
Yep.
This is what happened. And well, Goedo took the loss. He actually had a pretty good tournament last time though. Went 9-6 because there was a lot of uncertainty about Goedo last tournament.
hmm He did enough to save his Ozeki rank at this point, and he's in a position where he doesn't really have to worry about a losing record this time.
Yeah, which when that usually happens, the Ozeki has a losing record for the tournament.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they then go Kaidaban, and then they have to save their rank for the next tournament.
Yeah, which then they usually do, and whatever. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's been fun. Let's say it like that.
Yeah. Yeah, Toshinoshin surprised Goedo by basically employing a throw maneuver on the edge of the ring, by basically forcing Goedo out because Goedo went way too fast into the edge of the ring, edge of the doyo, and got forced out.
Yeah, and I think I honestly think he took Tochinoshin too lightly, which he shouldn't have if he saw Tochinoshin's last tournament. But we'll get to that in a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, Takayatsu, who debuted as an Ozeki and got a loss at his first time as Ozeki.
Not a great thing to do, Takayasu. Really, man, this was your chance, man. Make a big first impression as the next Ozeki. And, if any of you guys watched the first sumo show we did, this was a guy I was really pulling for because I like the guy. Mm-hmm. He's in the same training stable as Kiseno Sato.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of joke with myself and call those two the two-man power trip of sumo.
Mm-hmm.
Since, if you were to, it's not a perfect equation since, titles in WWE and in sumo don't very equally equate. But the idea is that the Yokozuna are pretty much like the highest rank. So that would be like your world championship. And the Ozeki's second highest, which would be like your IC title. In theory, at least. I mean, I know it's not a perfect comparison, but that's the theory. So I called them my two-man power trip, like, because when Stone Cold and Triple H were a team, they had all the belts. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but in this particular case, Takayatsu lost into who? Let me think here. Was it either Hokato Fuji or was it Tamawashi?
No, it wasn't Tamawashi. I think it was Hakoto Fuji.
Okay, it was Hokuto Fuji who beat him. And okay, so both Megashira 2s won against higher ranked wrestlers, and one of the Megashira 1s won against a higher ranked wrestler.
Yeah.
Well, the Wall had a good day today.
Yeah. Yes, they did. Hopefully they can continue, because for those who don't know, and I think we touched upon it last time we talked Sumo, but that was 2 months ago, and I'm sure those of you who don't follow it as much as us probably forgot, which I don't blame you.
Yeah.
There's stuff I hear 2 months ago and I don't remember, so, The Wall is where you have your Sekiwakis, Komosubis, and like Megashiras 1 through 4.
Mm-hmm.
Those are like sort of middle of the pack. And they put them up against the Yokozuna and the Ozekis with the sole intent of purpose of seeing, are you guys good enough to survive a bomb, pretty much? Are you guys good enough to survive this incredibly hard challenge? Can you survive this storm? Yeah. If you can, like people like Takayasu have, people like, it appears like Mita Kiyumi has, people like the Yokozuna have, they all had to survive that. Then they go on. It's pretty much like a trial by fire.
Yes. A trial by fire that involves extraordinarily large men trying to throw you out of a sumo ring.
Yes. Or make you touch the bottom of the sumo ring with anything but your feet.
Yeah.
But, And, the Wall, the people who went up against the Wall, they broke through it today. Hopefully they'll be able to break through it tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. So yes, the winners on the other side of the Wall, both Sekiwakis won today, Tamawashi and Mitakume.
Yep. Tamawashi has been Sekiwaki for quite a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because getting promoted to Ozeki is insanely hard.
Yes.
We touched on it last time, but in order to get promoted to Ozeki, this is pretty much like the guarantee standard. This is like the standard they normally use. It can be a little less than this, but this is usually like the baseline, like what they look for. 33 wins over your past 3 tournaments, and with at least 10 in your most recent tournament.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 33. You need to get that magic number in order to make it as an Ozeki, and you need to make sure that you've proven that you're a very good wrestler.
Yeah. And for those who don't know, each tournament has 15 matches. You need to average 11 wins per tournament over those 3 tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
That is very hard.
Yep. Especially with the variety of opponents that you'll be facing against in a Sumo Basho.
Yep. And especially since you're being put in the Wall.
Yep. And Tamawashi has been a constant resident of the Wall since he became Sekiwaki.
Yep. He's always going at least like 9-6, 10-5. Last tournament he did go 10-5. So, I'm sure he's hoping to build on this. I'm sure he wants out of the Wall.
Mm-hmm. But yes, Tamawashi's got a good shot. Mitakumi has a fantastic shot.
Yes. Mitakumi is a very young guy. Mm-hmm. This is only like his 7th or 8th tournament in the top division, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't been in much. And this is his first tournament at Sekiwaki, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah. And last tournament he went decent. He was Komosubi last tournament at 8-7.
Mm-hmm.
And he won the Outstanding Performance Prize.
Mm-hmm.
And, now this is his first chance at Sekiwaki, and in his first match, he proved himself very well and actually beat a Yokozuna.
Yep.
So he's a young guy to keep your eye on. I think he has a lot of potential. I think he's going to make an Ozeki run.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But,
he's going to make an Ozeki run, and he's basically added another gold star to his, well, actually, he doesn't have a gold star this time, because Sekiwakis can't earn the gold stars, only Megashira can.
Yep. And for those who don't know, a gold star is when a Megashira beats a Yokozuna.
Yep. Yes, that's when the seat cushions start flying above the ring.
Yes. Whenever you see someone get a gold star victory, everyone in the sumo place typically sits on purple seat cushions, and when that happens, they throw them up in the air.
Yeah.
You're not
And then the ring announcer is saying, "Please make sure not to throw the dang cushions."
Yeah. The weird thing is, like, technically the rules say you're not supposed to, but you are expected to.
Yeah.
You are expected to throw them, but like the rules of the actual rules written down say don't do it. But it's pretty much like nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Yeah, no, do it.
Yeah. Especially when it's a major upset. Sometimes it even happens during a major upset where one of the Yokozuna who's been dominant for a long time gets beaten by somebody else who's less dominant than the Yokozuna.
Yep. But so the Sekiwaki had a good day.
Mm-hmm.
The Komosubi had a pretty good day. Yoshikaze,
Veteran guy, 34 years old, has always been around, and this guy is starting to prove that he is really good in the Komosubi spot.
Yep, he's been proving himself. I feel like these past few tournaments, he's really been coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Last tournament, it was a good 8-7 record. I mean, going 8-7, especially in the wall spot, that's actually very hard to do. So whenever you can do it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also he beat a Yokozuna in this particular tournament, so he beat Hamafuji. So
yeah. And he moved up a spot from Komosubi 1 West to Komosubi East.
Mm-hmm.
Basically because Mideki Yumi went up from Komosubi 1 East to Sekiwaki West. So
Yep.
Just like that sliding chain of promotion.
Yep. And he's going to have a decent basho, I think. He's starting to get into the heads of the Yokozuna, which is a major positive. And I think if he matches up against Kakayuru or Kasana Sato, I think he might beat those two. Hakuho, different story, might not be able to do it, but we'll see. Anything's possible in sumo.
Yeah. Oh man, it's so hard to bet against Hakuho though.
Mm-hmm. Especially when he gets on one of these runs.
Yeah. Seriously, the guy is great. I know I've mentioned this before, but the dude has won more than half of all the tournaments he's been in.
Yes.
He is the single most dominant sumo wrestler ever.
Yeah. Since the 1980s.
Yeah. Hasn't he won like the most tournaments ever or second most?
I think he's probably about second most, I think.
Okay.
I'll check on that. But let's talk about Kokoshiguru. He's at Komosubi 1 West. He lost against Hakuho.
Man, this is a guy who's just been sliding.
Mm-hmm.
3 tournaments ago, he was Ozeki.
Mm-hmm.
Then he lost his rank, and he went down to Sekiwaki.
Mm-hmm.
Then in that tournament, see, when you lose your Ozeki rank, you have a one-time get back in quick sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Where if the tournament after you lost your Ozeki rank, you win 10 wins, you're back in as Ozeki. It's a one-time thing only, though. If you don't do it then, well, after that, you need to do it like any other Sekiwaki would.
Yep.
Which means 33 wins over 3 tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
On the last day, he was going for his 10th win, and he lost.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, excuse me, second to last day. He needed to win in order to still be able to get 10, and he lost.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, he went down to Sekiwaki. And you know who he lost to?
That would be, let me think here. That would be Tenryufuji.
Yeah. People were pissed at Tenryufuji. And for those who don't know, Tenryufuji's Mongolian.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people were so upset they chanted stuff like, go back to Mongolia to him.
Mm-hmm. That only seemed to motivate the guy, though.
Yeah. Oh, and that's why people were so happy when in that tournament, Kiseno Sato, who's Japanese, beat Tenryufuji in the playoff match to win that tournament.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So, not exactly the best relations there, but it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah. So, and then Kodo Shogiku was in Sekiwaki. Then last tournament, he went 7-8. And, well, now he's Komosubi.
Mm-hmm.
This guy has been falling. I know he's older. I know he's been banged up. It's just, I hope he can still go.
Mm-hmm.
Because It's kind of like you wonder, is he past his prime? Is he going on too long?
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure. I mean, I think he'll be fine at this rank. I think he might get a decent record at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, he lost to Hakuho, but hey, everybody loses to Hakuho.
Yeah, no. Everyone loses to Hakuho. Always remember that. Hakuho Uber Alice.
Mm-hmm. So there's that. Then there's Shodai, who had a very close contest to Kakayuru.
Yep.
I think he's okay at this point, but he needs to really start improving from what he's been doing lately. He's now at Megashira 1, which was an improvement over his last position, which I think he was at Megashira 5.
Yep, he was 5 West last time. He's 1 East now. Last tournament was very good for him. He was 10-5.
Mm-hmm. And only matched by Takashi Shoryu, who won against Tenora Fuji.
Yep. He was very good last tournament. He came into last tournament at 7 West. He went 11-4.
Mm-hmm. And was one of the best of the Megashira wrestlers.
Yeah. After that was Tochinoshin, who won today.
Yep.
He was very surprising last tournament. He was sort of on the cusp of, if he had a bad tournament, he was probably back down to Juryo.
Mm-hmm.
Last tournament, he was at 10 East.
Yep.
Now, and then he went 12-3, and now he's at 2 East. Very, very good.
Mm-hmm. This is actually typically more Toshinoshin's rank. He's typically more towards the Megashiro 6 to about Komosubi ranks. The problem was that Toshinoshin suffered a knee injury in a Basho, I think about 8 Bashos ago.
Yeah.
And has been slowly recovering his rank from that injury. And he had a very good match, against Guedo, where he won that Basho on the first day.
Yep.
And, of course, Kokoda Fuji, who completed the trifecta of the Megashiras, completely cleaning out the Ozakis.
Yeah, which, for those who know, we mentioned Keen Boshis earlier. Those are actually an officially kept stat. There's also an unofficially kept stat called Gin Boshis, which means silver star. Keen Boshi actually translates to gold star. Gin means silver star. And that's when a Megashira wrestler defeats an Ozeki. They're not officially kept, but some people keep track of them. So,
It's like having a stamp collection.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, but no, Hokuto Fuji went 10-5 last tournament, going up to 2 West from Megashira 7 East. So, he had a very good tournament.
So then we get into the Megashira free ranks, where we have our 2 double losers in this case. Ikoi, who lost, and Endo, who lost.
Yep. Ikoi is interesting in that I've been looking over his record. He's been slowly building himself back up. Went 9-6 last tournament. It was at Megashira rank 6 West. He's now at 3 East. I don't know what to make of him.
He is a very, very scrappy wrestler. He's very good in the clutch against opponents that are higher ranked than he is. Although occasionally he has his slip-ups, where today he had a little bit of a slip-up. He slipped on the doyo.
Yeah.
And then, Endo ran against the brick wall known as Ura.
Yep. We'll get to Ura in a minute, because this guy, keep your eyes out on him, folks. He's very young and very talented, but Endo, he needs to have a good tournament this time. Last tournament was very disappointing. He was 6-9 and West Megashira 1. And, I know he's in the wall position, but still, with Endo, it's going to be the question of, is this guy a guy who can get over the hump and survive the wall, or is he going to be the guy who cracks under pressure?
Because he has survived the wall before, and he did very well, but then he got his ACL injury in 2015, where, he's then trying to slowly go back up from in the ranks, and he's done well. It's just last tournament he didn't do terribly well, and now he's facing against some of the young guys.
Yeah.
Admittedly, Endo is also just as young as these guys.
Yeah. And now we move on to 4 East Ura. This guy is good.
Yeah.
This guy is very good. This is only his third tournament at the top division. He's Mega Shira 4 East.
Mm-hmm.
Last tournament, he was Mega Shira 10 West, and he went 11-4.
Yep.
This is a guy who I see a lot of potential in. He is very unconventional, though.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, see his style, and you always see it. I've heard people call it the submarine. He goes low and goes after the legs
Mm-hmm.
of his opponents, which is both. It's a good idea, but it's also very risky.
Yeah.
Because in order to lose a sumo bout, you either need to step out of the ring or have any other part of your body except the soles of your feet touch the bottom of the ground of the doyo which you're standing on.
Yep.
By going low, he tries to get his opponent's feet out from under him, but he also opens himself up to having his hands touch the ground or something else touch the ground.
Mm-hmm.
He has very good balance, though, so I think he can get away with it to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been proving himself very capable. 11-4 last tournament.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the dude is good.
The guy also has a judo background, which if he can't get you with the submarine, he'll just throw you over.
Yeah. And something else to keep in mind with Ura is he's one of the lightest sumo wrestlers in the tournaments. I think he only weighs about 260 pounds.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think he has gone up in weight recently, but at the same time, the guy is still extraordinarily dangerous against a Rikishi that is unprepared for his style, and he can change things up to a degree where even if you think you've predicted Ura's movements, he'll still be able to surprise you.
Yes. He is very, very good. He's a guy we should all keep our eyes on because, again, only his third tournament, and he's already Mega Shira 4 East.
Mm-hmm. Joining him in the Mega Shira 4 East in his highest ever rank is Kagayaki.
Kagayaki was a pleasant surprise last tournament. A guy who was sort of in the middle to lowering ranks of the Mega Shira, Mega Shira 9 West, went 9-6, and he's 4 West. He's a very capable wrestler. And I think he has been building himself up lately because, like we've said, this is his highest rank, and
Mm-hmm.
I am curious as to see what he does. Hopefully he goes up continually because, hey, I'd like to see that. But
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kagayaki is a very young wrestler. He's a guy he's inconsistent to a degree, but that's because of the fact that he's using a style that isn't really fit for his game. Kagayaki has incredibly long arms. Has a very, very good reach. The problem is that his style of sumo is more along the lines of grabbing, pushing away from the opponent. He doesn't really use an Oshi style. He's more of a guy who is a guy that just simply does a simple push instead of trying to slap his opponent out of the ring.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully he can get it together. Hopefully he can figure it out. But
Yeah. He is very capable, because he's been in the top division now for let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is his 7th appearance in the top division and 8th overall because he had an appearance in 2016. 7-8, 9-6, 6-9, 8-7, 7-8, 9-6. Very consistently decent,
yeah.
a Kinboshi there, a Katakoshi here, He is an Oshi and Tsuki specialist, which relies on pushing and thrusting techniques to defeat his opponents rather than belt wrestling. His weakness is he isn't really good at the belt.
Yeah. Yeah, and we've seen guys who work the belt like Hakuho.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're pretty damn dominant.
Yeah, and Kagayaki, like we said, has long arms, but the problem is he doesn't use those long arms in getting onto the belt.
Yeah.
Instead, relying on just basic pushing and thrusting techniques. And he also doesn't really do a high amount of slapping techniques, which Takashi Shoyu is great at.
Yeah. So, this is a thing he needs to probably work on, but at the same time, we hope he does well. It's just, like we said, he's very middle of the road so far in terms of overall performance. but he does decent.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so.
After that, it's the Megashira 5s, and they both won today. Chiyosoma and Toshino-zan.
Yep. And in the first spot is the first of our Chio wrestlers, all from the same stable.
Mm-hmm.
There's 4 of them this time.
Mm-hmm.
And, Chiyosoma got the win today. Looking to improve on his last tournament. He was Megashira 2 West, so, again, in the wall position, but so he went 5-10. So hopefully he'll improve. He's like just outside the wall, maybe in the outer edges of the wall this time. So hopefully he'll do good.
I think he'll do fine. He's done very well in this position before, and I think he was dealing with some nagging foot issues last tournament, so he'll be doing better in this particular position. Toshino-zan is also in a good position to succeed. He's at Megashira 5 West.
Yep. Again, looking to improve on last tournament. He was 4 East, went 6-9. Now he's 5 West. Didn't drop too much, but
Considering everybody else had horrific tournaments around him, he benefited heavily from it. He's now Megashira 5, and I think he'll probably do well in this particular tournament. The tournament before that, he was Megashira 10. He was 10-5, so maybe we'll see a bit of a recovery from this guy.
Yeah, hopefully we will. After that is Ichinojo.
Oh boy, Ichinojo.
The guy is so damn inconsistent. I remember last tournament he started out very hot. He actually had a winning record, 8-7, which is why he went up from Megashira 9 East to 6 East. But the dude, he's so inconsistent. He's one of the bigger guys. And something I've noticed is if you get him on the edge, he'll fight for a little bit, but then just give up and get pushed out.
Yep.
That's his biggest thing. He always gives up on the edge and gets pushed out. Always. If he can get you on the initial charge, he'll probably push you out. And he often can. It's just, if he ever gets put up against the wall, he'll fight for a little bit, then I'm done, just push me out. So inconsistent.
Yeah. The guy who isn't inconsistent right now is the guy who's in his second appearance in the top division, Onosho.
This dude, keep an eye on him and Ura as 2 young guys. Like Fizzy said, second tournament. He's at Megashira 6 West. In his first tournament, he went 10-5 and won the Fighting Spirit Prize. At Megashira 14 East. Talk about a hell of a debut.
Yep.
That was impressive.
Takashi Shoyu, Ura, Onosho. Those are 3 young guys.
Yeah. The young guys are very good, very capable sumo wrestlers, very capable Rikishi. These guys are good.
Yeah, and he did very well last tournament. Was very, very impressive. There were 2 debuts. Yuki Takayama got pushed back down to Juryo. Onosho did extraordinarily well.
Yep. And, to be fair to the other man, you don't really expect them to always be great in their debut.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of times very good wrestlers debut in Makuchi, the top division, and from Juryo, and they don't do so well, and they go back down to Juryo, and then they come back up later. It happens all the time. So, it's if you can have a great debut like Onosho, that's great. It doesn't always happen, though.
Yeah. Then we reached the rank 7s guys, and both these guys lost today. Takanoa and Daisho.
Yep. Takanoa, he's looking to improve. Last tournament, he went 5-7-3, but he did withdraw due to injury.
And he was the guy who faced against Onosho in the Basho today.
Yep.
And that was a really impressive Basho.
Yep.
That was a really impressive match between these 2 wrestlers.
God bless me. Excuse me. But yeah, so hopefully, I think Takanoya has some potential.
Yeah. He goes on occasional runs where he gets into a really good hot streak. And then, like, for instance, at the July Basho last year, he went 12-3.
Yeah. And, in the January tournament, he went 11-4 with the Outstanding Performance Award and in a Keen Boshi.
Yep. So this
So,
guy is capable.
yeah. But a lot of his tournaments are categorized by going 5-10 or 6-9.
Mm-hmm.
Over his past, 1, 2, 3. Over his past 7 tournaments, I'll count his last tournament too at 5-7-3. Over his past 7 tournaments, 4 of them he's won either 5 or 6 times.
Mm-hmm.
And then he had those 2 outliers, or no, excuse me, 5 of them he's won only 5 or 6 times, and then he had those 2 outliers at 12-3 and 11-4.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a guy who can get it done, but he's very inconsistent.
Yep. Daishoyu was the guy who went against the wall last time. He was at Megashira Free East. He went 4-11.
Yeah, and he dropped down to 7 West.
Mm-hmm.
But, hopefully he gets it back together, Daisho. I mean,
he's got good fighting spirit. He's got good technique. Unfortunately, he went against the wall that is Oyama on the first day, and Oyama proceeded to beat him.
Yeah, he couldn't escape Aoyama, who also went 4-11 last tournament.
Yeah.
And also last tournament, he was Megashira 3 West. He's now 8 East. These two can't escape each other.
Yeah. And I'm not kidding when I say Oyama is a wall.
Oh, yeah, no, he's huge.
Yeah.
He's also, isn't he from Georgia?
No, he's from Bulgaria.
Or Bulgaria, excuse me, yes. There are a couple of wrestlers here from Georgia, and I'm talking about the country, not the state.
Yeah. So,
yeah. Oyama's interesting in that he can be very good.
Yeah.
Like we saw, he was 3 West last time.
Yeah.
I mean, he's gone 8-7 quite a few times. He's had some 9-6s, some 10-5s, and 11-4. He can be very good.
And then there are times when Oyama trips over his own 2 feet.
Yeah, he's had 4-11s, 5-10s, 6-9s. I mean, the guy, he seems to be the kind of guy who will either go like 8-7, 9-6, or 5-10, 6-9.
Yep. And then, of course, you have Ishura, who is the other small guy in the division.
Yep. And he actually had a decent tournament last time at 11 West. He went 8-7, and now he's up to 8 West.
Yeah. Solid, consistent, in a good position in the ranks, to do well. He already won his first Basho by doing a Henka on Toko Shiguru.
Yeah. Oh, those Henkas. That was great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he basically dodged Toko Shiguru, who is, once again, another wrestler who's built like a truck.
Yeah.
He's come back from the Juryo ranks and has been in the top division for the last couple of Bashos, and he's done okay.
Yep.
Very consistently decent in the lower ranks, but when he gets up into the higher ranks, he starts to struggle a little bit.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes for a lot of these guys.
Mm-hmm.
And, like Daisho and Aoyama can't escape each other, Ishiura and Tokoshoyu can't escape each other.
Mm-hmm.
Last time, Ishiura was 11 West, which is right above 12 East, which was, guess who? Tokoshoyu. Mm-hmm. They both went 8-7. Guess, and now as Ishiura's 8 West, Tokoshoyu's 9 East.
Mm-hmm.
Can't escape each other.
Yep.
But, they're at least moving upwards, which is much better faring than 9 West.
Okanumi.
Okay. Yeah. I know he was in the wall, but good Lord.
3-12 at Megashira 2.
Yep. He at least did better than Megashira 1 East, who we'll get to in a minute, but good Lord, that was bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've said, being in the wall sucks.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's been around for a very long time in Sumo. He's been around for about 7 years in the top division now.
Mm-hmm.
Went down to Jurio for a tournament or two, but and he's a guy who, see, he's very inconsistent. He's
Yeah.
had a lot of 9 and 6s, 8 and 7s, and 10 and 5s, and he's also had a lot of 5 and 10s,
Mm-hmm.
and 4 and 11s, and 6 and 9s.
Yeah. This time he went 3 and 12.
Yeah. He needs to get another good tournament. Hopefully
Mm-hmm.
he does, because if he has another bad one, as bad as he did last time, he's probably back down to Jurio.
Yep. Because now we get into the stretch of the rankings where it is go or go down to Jurio.
Yep. After that is a guy who actually improved. It's Chio Tairyu, the second of the Chio Brigade.
Yep. He went 9 and 6 last tournament and Megashira 14 West.
Yep. So we moved up to 10 East.
Mm-hmm.
He was on the verge of getting sent back down to Jurio, and he decided, nah, I'm good with staying here.
Yep.
And so he stayed here.
Mm-hmm. And everybody else around him had worse performances than he did, so it was basically a given that Chiotaro was going to be in the next tournament in this position.
Yep. So, he's back up. I think he'll do pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yep, he'll do pretty good. Shohozan is a guy that needs to improve, though. 6 and 9 last Basho at Megashira 8 East.
Yeah. Man, oh man. This has just been crazy. Like, last tournament was really weird. You had a lot of guys do pretty good and a lot of guys do pretty bad. Shohozan needs to improve. He's been slipping these past few tournaments. He actually did better last tournament than the tournament before, believe it or not. The tournament before, he went 5 and 10.
Yeah.
Last tournament, he was really needed to improve. He did get one more win. Not meaning much, though, because, his past 3 tournaments have all been better, have all been worse than he was one at Megashira. He was at East Megashira number 5 3 tournaments ago and went 8 and 7. Then he went up to East Megashira number 2, went 7 and 8 with a gold star.
Yep.
So, when you do that, you're not going to fall too much. And he didn't. He fell down to East Megashira number 3.
Mm-hmm.
Then he went 5 and 10 with a gold star.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that gold star was nice, but it ain't saving your ass from too much, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Went 6 and 9, and now he's down to West Megashira 10. And he can thank his lucky stars that so many people did worse than him that he didn't fall further.
Yeah. Like Mr. Chino Kuni.
Oh, dear Lord. Chiono Kuni, I know you were 1 East. I know that is one of the worst ranks to be in terms of your opponents. 12 and 13? There is no excuse.
2 and 13.
Yeah.
2 and 13. Kinboshi. 2 wins, 13 losses at Megashira 1 East. After going 9 and 6 the past 2 tournaments before that.
Yeah. That is my lord. I think if he was any lower than like East Megashira 1, he'd probably be back down to Jurio.
Mm-hmm. Instead, he is at Megashira 11 East.
Yeah. He is so lucky.
Mm-hmm.
I swear, if he has another bad tournament this time, he can kiss Jurio hello.
Yep. He can say hello to Jurio. Following him is Daisho Maru, who had an okay Basho at 8 and 7 at Megashira 13 West.
Yeah. At least he's improving.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, the guy, Daisho Maru, I love saying his name and how they say it. Daisho Maru. Like, that's how they say it there, and it's awesome.
Yep.
But, yeah, he needs to improve.
I think if he has another solid Basho, he'll probably make it to Megashira 10 or a Megashira 10 or 9.
Yeah. Most of his stuff has been, like, I'm looking at his records. He's very young. This is only his, second year in the top division.
Mm-hmm.
He's constantly gone around 8 and 7 and 7 and 8, 9 and 6.
Mm-hmm.
All except for one where he went 4 and 11 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
So he's constantly doing that middling stuff, which If he does it again, he'll probably still move on.
Mhm.
But I want to see if this is all he's capable of. Is he
Yep.
better?
Yeah. Following that, we have Ariwashi and Takekaze at the Megashira 12 position, East and West, respectively.
Yeah, Arawashi can thank his lucky stars. He actually managed to go 7-8 at 11 East and still be in Makuchi
Mm-hmm.
because so many other people did far worse than him.
Yeah. Basically, the last Basho was basically a tournament of survival.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't survive.
Yeah, 4 people got demoted down to Juryo.
Yeah, isn't it usually only like 2 or 3?
Sometimes, yes, but sometimes there's more.
Yeah, like we saw last time, we had 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, Arawashi, well, you survived, man. Hopefully you do better.
And then there's Takekaze, who was at Megashira 6 East, went 4-11.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
He can also thank his lucky stars he was high enough to survive.
Yeah.
He better also pray that he doesn't do that again.
Yeah.
We'll be back down in Juryo so fast.
Mm-hmm. And at this point, he's at Megashira 12 West. He lost his first bout of the day, but he did train for it. So he is in a position where he can potentially provide a solid enough record. I would say he probably goes 9-7 in this tournament at this point.
Yeah, 9-6, 8-7. Hopefully, I mean he's hoping for that.
Mm-hmm.
At least he didn't do his bad last tournament. It's this next guy.
Takara Fuji.
At 4 West last tournament, he went 3-12.
Yep.
Utter garbage. My lord, Takara Fuji, what were you doing?
Well, he's been pretty decently consistent. He went 9-6, 6-9, 7-8, and 3-12 in his last 4 tournaments.
Yeah. He needs to get better. He's been slipping a lot lately.
I think he will do better in this particular tournament because he's in a good rank at Megashira 13 to get out some wins.
Yeah. If he doesn't, he's gone.
He's down to Juryo potentially. After that, we have the only Chinese wrestler in this in the tournament in the top division, Sokurai.
Yeah, he won today.
Yeah,
which he needed because last tournament at 8 West he went 5-10.
Yep.
He's another person you can thank his lucky stars that so many other people did worse than him and were lower ranked than him.
Yep.
Because good lord.
Yep. He typically does very well at the lower ranks, though. At Megashira 11 East, he went, let's see here, at Megashira 14 East, he went 9-6. At Megashira 11 East, the tournament before, he went 5-10. At Megashira 10 West, he went 12-3. At Megashira 2, 4-11. At Megashira 8, 5-10. Last tournament. This time he's at Megashira 13, he will go, and he's currently 1-0.
Yeah. So, hopefully he can build on this, And look, I get that these are very talented people, and just making it in to the top Makuchi division is insanely hard.
Yeah.
But still, so many of these guys did terrible last time.
Sanonome actually did extraordinarily well, because last tournament he was in Juryo. At 9-6, he was the tournament champion. Or actually somebody who actually got into the top division via the having the best record in Juryo.
Yep. He's back. He was at Juryo 1E, went 9-6, and he's back in Makuchi. Hopefully he can stay there.
Yep. Kotoyuki is hoping that he stays here too, because he went 6-9 at Megashira 12.
Yep. He can be thanking his lucky stars more than Sakokurai that he's still here. Yes. I have no idea how he survived.
Because Kaisei was worse than him.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, that if you're at 12 West and can survive in Megashira at 6-9, you got lucky.
Yep.
This is like his last chance, though.
Yeah, this is his last chance to make it in top division at this point. Otherwise, he's going to be dumped down to Juryo. The guy who actually won the Juryo Basho last time was Nishinigi.
Yep, Nishikigi, last tournament went 10-5 and won Juryo.
Mm-hmm.
And he's back in Makuuchi.
Yep.
And hopefully he'll do well. So,
Yeah.
you know.
Last two tournaments in the Makuuchi division, he went 5-10 at Megashira 11 and 5-10 at Megashira 16.
Oh boy, he better do better.
Yeah.
If he does not do better, he can say hello to Juryo once again.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of a guy who's been stuck down in Juryo for ages, Chiyomaru has made his first top division appearance in 2 years.
Yep, the last of our Chiyo brigade.
Yep.
He's back.
Yep.
And oh, good Lord, does it feel good to be back for him.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully he continues to do well. It would be a damn shame if he went back down.
Mm-hmm. Yes, the last time he was in the top division was at the Nagoya Basho in 2015.
Yeah, that was over 2 years ago. That was in May of 2015.
Mm-hmm. Since then, he has been dealing with Juryo. He went 9-6. Juryo 1 West, Juryo 14, Juryo 7, Juryo 11, 12, 9, 5, 1, 3, 4, and 2.
Yep. And then he finally got back at Megashira 15 West.
Yep.
Hopefully he'll continue to do well.
Mm-hmm. And finally, the guy from Georgia, the country, not the state, Gagamaru.
Yep. He's also back.
Mm-hmm.
From Juryo. Last tournament in Juryo, he went a very nice and respectable 9-6 at Juryo 3 East. He can't afford to have a losing record.
Yeah, otherwise he's back down in Juryo.
Yep. Unless someone somehow does even worse than him.
Yeah, which is not possible because he's at Megashira 16.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, like if he goes like 7-8 and like the 4 people above him go like 6-9, I'd say he'd still somehow, manage to maybe hang on.
Mm-hmm.
Either that or they just ship them all down to Juryo and call up like 5 different guys.
Mm-hmm. And there's a few people in the Juryo record right now that are doing decently. They got their first wins today, and anyone in Juryo 1 through, I think, 5, if the one in Juryo 5 wins the record, then they get automatically promoted to the top division. But if you're in Juryo 1 through 4, you can possibly make it back to the top division if you have a good enough record.
Yep. And they better hope and everyone in the top division better hope they do good, because Juryo, they can come back and haunt you.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this Basho, Nagoya, is already looking like a really, really interesting Basho so far.
Yep. We had all 3 Ozekis lose and 2 of the Yokozuna lose. The Wall put up a very good fight today and said, nope, we're not going down quietly. There's a bunch of people who are literally crapping themselves, hoping they don't do as bad as they did last time.
Yeah.
Like Chiono Kuni. My God, man, what were you doing?
Tripping on his own 2 feet and losing to the top division guys.
Obviously, Chiono Kuni, Takara Fuji, and Okinomi. I want to see all of you 3 do better this time.
Mm-hmm.
All 3 of you.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, my Lord. If I don't, my God, will I just be laughing when they're sent back down to Juryo?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 2-13, man.
2-13.
3-12, and another 3-12. And that goes for you 4-11 guys too. Daisho, Aoyama, and Takekaze. Get better. Good Lord.
But that is the ways of professional sumo. This is the we're not kidding when we say that this is literally one of the top sports in Japan. It's one of the most respected, and it is also one of the most difficult. If you think that this is merely a sport where 2 fat guys slam into each other in the middle of a ring, then you obviously have no idea what sumo is.
Yeah, because these guys are actually very flexible and very strong, and they don't just run into each other. No, they're very good.
Yes.
Very capable. I mean, hell, you can see them judo throw each other.
Yeah. Sumo is an intelligent sport. I know that
Yes.
that might sound surprising, but it is a sport of tactics, strategy, and intelligence. You have to use your technique and skills wisely, otherwise somebody will counteract those techniques and skills.
Yep. And two of the best people who could tell you about that are the top two Yokozuna,
Yeah.
Hakuho and Haruma Fuji.
Hmm.
There is something Haruma Fuji does called the Haruma Fuji non-henka,
Hmm.
which is sort of like, they don't call it a henka, but it's almost like henkaing.
Hmm.
And for those who don't know what a henka is, it's sort of like a fake out,
Hmm.
more or less, where you sort of like sidestep your opponent and
Yeah,
get
you
them to,
sidestep your opponent, and they run out of the ring, and they suddenly go, "Oh, wait."
yeah. Either that or you sidestep them and you push them down so they touch the mat. And
Hmm.
Haruma Fuji is very talented at this. It's very beautiful to watch, actually. Just
Hmm.
like how quickly he can sidestep and put you down. It's actually very impressive.
Yep.
And Hakuho's just beast incarnate who knows how to systematically take you out.
He knows so many different sumo techniques.
Yeah. Like, seriously, if there was one guy who could teach you everything you needed to know about sumo, I'd say it would be Hakuho.
Hmm.
And I would fear that man.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is looking like to be a fantastic bash show, and folks, we will give you updates of the bash show on every episode of Fizzy Wacky World of Wrestling while the tournament is going on. As we said in the opener, this tournament is lasting from July 9th to July 23rd.
Yep. 15 days of sumo. And
Yep.
before we go, I need to ask you, Fizzy, who do you got? I know it's hard to predict.
For the U show, I'm thinking at this point that it's either going to be one of the Yokozuna or it's going to be one of the Sekiwakis.
All right. Yeah. I'm feeling Hakuho. I can't bet against him
Hmm.
right now. I think Mita Keumi is looking primed for a run. I think Tamawashi might do something. Ooh.
Hmm.
I think Ura might surprise some people.
Hmm. Yeah, I know that people. I know that the sumo experts are predicting that the Ura is gonna fall at some point, but I'm not sure it's gonna be this Basho.
No, I'm not seeing it yet. He might, because he is in the wall position now.
Hmm. Yeah, edge of the wall.
Yep. But as we saw today, the wall fought back. So, and Uro's a very crafty guy, like we said. So I don't see why he can't.
Hmm. Yeah, it's gonna be anybody's game at this point, folks. And I think that there's gonna be a lot of surprises. There's gonna be a lot of upsets in the future, and we've got 14 more days to go.
Woo!
And it's already day one, and we've already had 3 upsets with the Ozekis and 2 upsets with the Yokozuna.
Yeah. If that's not one way to start it off, I don't know what is. And for those who are curious, I'll post a link down in the comments linking to today's episode or today's recap and like the matches of sumo.
Hmm.
They were
Yeah.
actually very good. So,
Hmm. And if you want more information about the world of professional sumo wrestling, I absolutely recommend you go to the Sumo Forum database. Those guys know what the heck they are talking about. As we said in our last sumo episode, we are not experts at this field. Both of us, I recently returned to sumo wrestling after being away from the sport for years, and Sal's just gotten into the sport.
yep. So, like we know some of the stuff we're talking about. We know about the techniques. We know about records. We know about all that stuff.
Mm.
We're not like in depth, like, like this is the greatest thing of all time. Or not that, excuse me. We're not all like, we can like name the technique verbatim.
Hmm.
We know we have enough knowledge. We have more knowledge than the average person, but we're not experts by any means.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So if you want to learn more about ancient histories of sumo and records and past Yokozunas and all the other stuff, I recommend going to the Sumo Forum and seeing what they have. And also, yes, as Sal said, he's going to post a link to the recap Day 1 highlights by Kitayama, who's one of the members of the Sumo Forum. There might be some touch and go on the updates. He did post an update video stating that he's going to be very busy these next couple of weeks, so the highlights might come a little bit later than usual, but Just patience, folks.
Yeah.
Sumo is worth the patience.
Yes, it is.
So that has been episode 18 of Fizzy's Wacky World of Wrestling. Like we said, we will be back at our usual start time on Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yep. To recap, Great Balls of Fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, Great Balls of Fire, yes, that show with the silly name is on tonight.
Yep. It's actually looking like a good card, Fizzy.
Yep, it's got a good card. Silly name for a pay-per-view.
Yep. Which, honestly, that's pretty good. And, before we leave, just to give a quick plug-ins, we got to plug people here.
Okay.
Yeah, we always support your friends, always plug them in, plug them there, plug everything.
Yep.
Check out Wednesday Night Shooting with Tanya and Fizzy.
Oh, Sonya and Swift.
Or Tanya and Swift. I'm sorry. I always get you two mixed up for some reason, and I have no idea why. I cannot tell you any reason why. I like sometimes get your names confused. I did that on that one Speaks episode when we were previewing WrestleMania 2. My God.
So anyway, Wednesday Night Shooting with Tanya and Swift, Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Not Your Demographic and Rudo Radio air on Thursdays and Fridays at whatever times that they get posted.
Yep. Two Guys, One Sport with our friends Chris Coolgan and Jerker, George at Saves. They go on Fridays, usually at 9.
Mm-hmm. But sometimes they air on Thursdays as well. But they give out updates to when they to do their shows.
Yep.
And finally, our newest addition to our little Friday lineup is Shooting the Breeze with Taker's Minion and
Mr. Dr. Senju.
Mr. Dr. Senju.
Yep. Nice guy. They had me on a couple weeks ago. Very good people. Go check them out. I know I'll be checking them out probably right after we finish doing this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they had their episode on Friday. They do their broadcast at 10 a.m. Central Time. That means 11 a.m. Eastern Time for those of us on the East Coast.
Yep. And for those on the West Coast, that's what, 8 a.m. Eastern?
Mm-hmm. 8 or 9.
Mountains,
Mm-hmm.
It's 9 a.m. Eastern. And for international audience, don't know all the international time zones.
Mm-hmm.
So, hopefully you can figure it out and yell at me. Sorry, guys.
Mm-hmm. And as always, we are going to be here at 1 p.m. Eastern Time for the next live broadcast of Fizzy's Wacky World of Wrestling. It's going to be kind of a busy week for me because I think I also have Speaks this weekend for the show.
Yeah.
So those will be coming around soon, around the bend. And after that, we have Pretty Clear Week the week after that. And then the week after that, we have Battleground.
Yep. The last pay-per-view before SummerSlam.
Yep.
My Lord, this WWE is going to be interesting heading into SummerSlam.
Yep.
But, we'll get to it when we get to it.
Yes, Battleground in the most glorious match of glorious matches ever that will be happening on that pay-per-view. The return of the Punjabi prison match.
Oh, God, no.
Oh, God, yes, this will be fun.
Yeah.
Well, as always, folks, this is going to be such a great couple weeks of pro wrestling.
Yep. Yeah. I've also, there's already been some big happenings in pro wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Just before we sign off, I'd like to say congrats to AJ Styles for winning the U.S. title at a WWE house show.
At Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah. I am curious as to how they're going to work this in the story, but, knowing Ward and Dog, I'm sure they'll figure out something good. It's at least going to make SmackDown more enjoyable to watch.
Okay, so the Phenomenal Hobo is the United States champion again.
Actually, no, for the first time he was WWE champ.
Okay, first time he's the United States champion. Yeah, I'm not sure how they're going to go with this. I mean, I'm kind of a little bummed myself that Owens lost, but okay, let's see where the Phenomenal Hobo goes with this.
Come on, at least Curtain Jerker's happy. His boy won.
Sure. I'm happy for him that his boy won, honestly, and we'll see where this goes from here. And like we said, next week we'll be covering all the WWE stuff that we didn't cover on our Sumo show. And thank you for tuning in on this edition of Fizzy's Wacky World of Wrestling. We really do enjoy doing these particular editions of the show because it's something very different from what we usually do.
Yep. And, hopefully you'll be back with us tomorrow when we get back into the old grind of WWE, which has been better lately, but,
Yeah. Yep. We'll be back on Friday at usual time. And this has been William Fizzpatrick. You can follow me at Fizzpatrick14.
And it's been Sal Cusmano. You can follow me at Cusmano_Sal.
And we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast. And you have a lovely day on this happy Sunday. And let's hope that today's pay-per-view isn't that bad.
Oh, I think it will be. The betting odds don't look promising.
Oh, wait, the heels are going to win?
All of them, apparently, yes. Spoiler alerts.
Oh, goody, Bray's going to win.
Yes, in a match I will probably skip. You cannot pay me enough money to watch that match.
I will possibly watch that match for the possibility of Bray Wyatt winning over Seth Rollins.
I will be skipping that match, and I will be praying that Tozawa wins in the opener, because apparently they're saying all the heels are going to win, but I haven't seen any lines for Tozawa and Neville.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll see.
Hopefully.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Yep. See you guys.
Yeah.